go ahead and get started. Let's have a seat and take the opportunity to check in with ourselves this morning. So just finding a comfortable, aligned, straight spine. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Let your jaw relax. Make sure your head is balanced on top of your spine. And then take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. If you're comfortable with your eyes closed, close your eyes. I want you to be really mindful of everything you feel in your body today. And then begin a deep, slow Ujjayi breath. Check in with any thoughts that might be swirling around in the head. Check in with any emotions the thoughts might be creating. Notice what your energy is this morning, and also notice what your sense of connection is. How connected do you feel to yourself? Hopefully more now. How connected do you feel to other people around you, to the earth itself, and to something larger than you? And then let's use all of the observations we've just made about ourselves to set an intention for practice today. So bring your palms together in front of your heart. Be very clear about your intention, and then when you are, take an extra deep inhale. And exhale through your mouth. You may open your arms, open your eyes, and roll the shoulders back. So just loosening up a little bit from the shoulders down. Big inhale, shoulders squeeze up by ears. Exhale, drop them. 2 more times like that. Inhale, squeeze your shoulders up by your ears. Exhale, drop them. 1 more time. Inhale, squeeze. And exhale, release. Good. From here, we're going to move on to hands and knees. So I'd like you to just start by spreading your fingers really nicely, flattening out your palms as much as your body allows. Arms are going to stay straight. We're going to circle our torso over the wrists. Change directions. And then if you can, from where you're at, fingertips, palms flat. Fingertips, palms flat. So we're just working with our true extremities today. Good. And then just leave your hands nice and spread. Do a couple of cat-cows. Inhale to arch, exhale to round. And so if your fingers are spread wide, your palms are flat, then you know your hands are in perfect position for downward facing dog, and that's where we're going. So turn the toes under, push the tailbone up and back. And stretch for a moment, relax your neck. And let's go ahead and pedal the feet a little bit today. So you're bending one knee while you press the opposite heel down, still pushing tailbone up and back. You're going to feel this in your calves, but you're also waking up your ankles and your toes. Once you've had the opportunity to really get into the feet and the legs a little bit, find some stillness, take a couple of breaths. Nice, deep, slow Ujjayi breaths. And then walk your feet forward.
Keep your knees bent and dangle in your ragdoll. Make sure your neck is relaxed. You can move your head if you need to. Arms are relaxed. And then on your next inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Lift your chest. Spread your fingers really wide. Look up if that feels okay. And let's hold this for a couple of breaths. On your next exhale, bring your palms together in front of your heart. So first off, we're just going to work with mountain pose, Tadasana. Your feet can either be completely together or they can be sit bone distance apart. I'm going to leave that up to you. Both are correct, just slightly different lineages. But we're going to lift our toes up, spread them out, plant them down, lift the heels and plant them. And then really align your spine over your heels, energy through the fingers. Just take a moment, feel steady, straight, rooted. So we actually can draw energy up, pardon me, through the arches of our feet. I want you to feel that for a moment. And then just shift your weight to your right foot. Roll back and forth over the toes of your left foot. Opening up the hands and feet today. So tomorrow is winter solstice. It's the shortest day, longest night of the year. And so our practices reflect that. They're going to be a little gentler this week than usual. However, it is still vinyasa class, so don't get too excited. After you've rolled a few times over the toes of the left foot, pardon me, what I'd like you to do is extend your left leg out with the heel on the ground and your toes very sharply flexing back towards your shin, which means dorsiflexion. And then you're not actually dragging the foot, but you're acting like you're dragging the foot. So it's kind of like you're pulling your heel back towards you. You should feel a stretch in your left calf. And then all you're going to do is switch this now. You're going to come to the top of the toes. Your foot is behind you. So it's like your foot is pointed, right? And then the same thing, you're not actually dragging your foot, but you're acting like it. You're kind of pulling the left foot forward. You should feel this on the top of your foot and all along the front of your shin, to be Alice. Take one more breath here. If you have a tendency for your toes to cramp, you might need to come in and out of this. And then put your left foot back where you had it, toes spread, grounded, and pause for a moment. And just notice, just from that, the difference in sensation of your left foot to your right foot. Your left foot is more awake now, right? You should feel it more. So let's do the same thing with the right foot. Shift your weight over to the left foot. You're going to roll back and forth over the toes of your right foot. We neglect our hands and our feet a lot. We take them for granted. And as things are winding down with the year and the seasons, it's nice to pay attention to the parts of ourselves that we often neglect. A couple more rolls back and forth over the toes of your right foot. And then let's go ahead and extend the right leg out. You want your legs straight. Your heel is planted on your mat or on the floor. The toes are curling very strongly back towards your right shin. And you're kind of acting like you're pulling your right heel towards you so that you feel this in your right calf. And then we reverse that. We bring the foot behind us. Toes are pointed. You're on top of your toes. You act as though you're pulling your right toes towards you, even though they are not really moving. You should feel a very nice stretch on the top of your foot and the front of the shin. And then come on out of that, plant your right foot back down beside your left foot. Spread your toes, plant your heels. So your feet should feel really alive now. We're going to bring our palms together in front of our hearts, Anjali Mudra. So we're just going to open up the wrists a little bit now. With palms together, pressing the heels of the hands down towards your navel, but you want to keep your palms together. Be mindful if you have wrist issues. So what this does is stretches the underside of the wrists. Take a couple of breaths. I've been told this is very good for carpal tunnel syndrome. And then all we're going to do is flip this. So keep the hands low, kind of down by your navel. Put the backs of your hands together. Keep the backs of the hands together and begin to bring them up. Now what this is going to do is stretch the top side of the wrist. A couple of breaths here. And then interlace your fingers and roll your wrists. Roll them in both directions. Shake them out. We'll come back to some more hands and foot stuff, but let me not neglect to get the rest of your body. So you're at the front of the mat. Your feet are really grounded and rooted and awake and alive, as are your hands by your sides. Samasthiti. Your chest is lifted, but the bottom points of the rib cage are tucked in. So your core is engaged and you're feeling very alive right now. Let's inhale and reach the arms up. And as you exhale, fold forward, getting the tips of the fingers beside the tips of the toes. Depends on your body whether your knees are bent or straight. That's your personal preference. And also has to do with your hamstring flexibility, but you want your hands beside your feet. Inhale, look up halfway for your half forward bend, and then exhale all the way back down. We're going to step back with our left foot and come into our lunge. Now, as you're here, your hands are on either side of your right foot, right? We've talked about the 4 points of your mat. But make sure that you're fully connected through all 4 points. So both of your hands are flat with your fingers spread. Your right foot is fully grounded. And your left foot is really connecting through the ball of the left foot and the toes. So you can really feel all 4 points. Drop your left knee down. Put your right hand on the inside of your right knee. Roll to the outside edge of the right foot and press gently to get some sensation in your right outer hip. So as your right foot has rolled to the outside edge, you'll notice that your foot should naturally flex. That protects your knee and it activates the arch of the right foot. Very important. Right hand goes back down where it was if you can, and you extend your right leg. If you can get it straight, fantastic. And then we dorsiflex the foot like we did when we were stretching the calf earlier. So it depends on your flexibility, but you should feel this in your right hamstring and hopefully also a little bit in the right calf. Bend your right knee. Bring the arms up and overhead. Pelvis tilts as the hips shift forward. If you're very grounded through your right foot, you should feel very steady. Now, your back foot, your left foot, toes turned under or not. It's personal preference. If you were to lift into a full crescent lunge, you would have the toes untucked. If you feel more steady with your toes tucked, all good. You get to choose. One more breath here. Now, come back up a little bit, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to slide the right foot back towards us, pretty close underneath the body. In other words, it's a sharp angle at the right knee. We're going to keep the right heel flat, hands on top of the right thigh, and you're going to gently press your right knee forward. What we're trying to do here is get a very sharp angle at the right ankle. This is going to stretch right Achilles tendon and calf a little bit. So your right heel stays flat. You're applying just the right amount of pressure on your right thigh. And then release. Take your hands to the mat. Spread the fingers, flatten the palms, and step yourself back to plank position. Just hold for a moment in your plank, and you'll feel how grounded and rooted you are. through the hands and the feet. You get to do vinyasas your way this morning. So on your next exhale, lower down however you like. Come into either Sphinx Cobra or upward facing dog. And then downward facing dog. Be mindful, again, of hands and feet. And of course, we're lengthening the spine. And of course, we're pressing our heels down and reaching the tailbone up. But we're keeping a really sharp focus on the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet. Take a big step forward with your left foot. So here we are with hands on either side of the left foot. The same 4 points. And so we become conscious of left foot being really grounded and rooted. Hands are flat. Right ball of the foot and toes are very connected. Drop onto your right knee, left hand to the inside of the left knee. Roll to the outside edge of that left foot and begin to apply some pressure to say hello to the left outer hip, maybe the left inner thigh. Again, you might notice that the left foot kind of naturally flexes. That helps protect the knee and it activates the left arch. Go ahead and put your left hand back where it was and just fully extend the left leg if you can. Flex the ankle and toes. Get that stretch behind the left thigh and maybe even the left calf. And then we're going to bend the left knee. Bring the arms up and overhead. Pelvis tilts. Hips shift forward. You want to feel really rooted and connected through your left foot. Remember, your back foot, your right foot, you can either have the toes tucked or untucked. It's personal preference. Whatever makes you feel more grounded and connected. And then we're going to bring the hands to the top of the left thigh. Scoot that left foot way back towards us. Left heel stays flat. And we press the left knee forward. So again, we're trying to get this sharp angle at the ankle. Achilles tendon is stretching, calf is stretching. Opening things up at the outer edges of us. Take one more breath here. And then bring the hands down and step forward to your standing forward bend. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up and overhead. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Lift your toes, all of them. Keep them up. Look down at your feet. Put down just the little toes of both feet. Then second, third, fourth, and big toe. Peel them back up in reverse. Big toe, second toe, third, fourth, and fifth. Now it's going to be very hard. It's a little more challenging to go the opposite way. Pace down your big toe and then second, third, fourth, fifth, because they kind of all go together. Try and peel them up in reverse. Baby toe, fourth, third, second, and big toe. Good. Toes are completely up. For this next series, I want you to keep your toes lifted the entire time. So look down at your feet. All 10 toes are off the mat. Your arches are very activated. That's where we draw energy. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold all the way forward, fingertips down. Inhale, look up halfway. And exhale, back down. We're going to step back with our right foot. And of course, your toes are on the mat, but your left toes are still up. Now, you're going to spin your right heel flat. Come up into warrior two. Lifting right toes, left toes are still lifted. Your arches are very engaged. The toes of both feet are up. Reverse your warrior, right hand, right thigh, left arm up and over. Keep those toes up and active. Come on back up. Toes are up and active. Let's take left hand outside, left foot or ankle, right arm up. And then if it feels okay on an exhale, take your right arm over your head for extended side angle. Toes of both feet are still up. Don't neglect your feet. Come all the way back up. Warrior two. Straighten your left leg. Toes are up. Lengthen, lengthen. Find your triangle pose. You should feel very rooted through the balls of your feet. Toes are up on both feet. Your legs are very awake. So as you find your spot in triangle, look up if you can at your right hand and spread those fingers nice and wide. Good. Right hand is going to come down. Just take a moment, lengthen out over your left leg. Both sets of toes are still up. From here, we're going to step it back to plank. Flatten out the hands. On your next exhale, lower down however you like. See if maybe you can roll over your toes. Upward facing dog or cobra. Maybe roll back over them for downward facing dog. Step forward with your right foot. Toes of the right foot are up. Now, just like we did on the other side, you're going to spin your left heel flat. Come up into warrior two. Lift the toes of the left foot. All 10 toes are up. And we're going to keep them up. Left hand, left thigh. Right arm up and over. Reverse your warrior. Toes stay lifted. Very active feet. Come back up. You're going to take your right hand outside that right ankle. Left arm up to the ceiling. And if it feels okay, overhead for extended side angle. You still have all 10 toes off the ground. Come back up. Straighten your right leg. All the toes stay up. Lengthen out. Find your triangle pose. And then look at your left hand and spread the fingers of the left hand. Very active. Toes are lifted, hands are active, breath is even. Bring that left hand down for a moment, stretch out over your right leg, toes are still lifted. Left foot steps forward to meet right foot. Toes are still up, by the way. Look up halfway and then back down, keep your toes lifted. Finally, plant your toes, inhale up. Exhale, palms together. All right, so we're gonna do a little bit of a tiny sequence that's usually in hot yoga. This is great for the feet, the calves, and the shins. Do your best. If you have knee issues, which I've been playing with, I'll give you some modifications. So we're gonna start with the feet completely together. This is very important. Your big toes have to be touching for this series. Arms are in front of you. Your heels are going to stay flat. You're going to poke your tailbone out and drop into a little bit of a yogic squat, like a half yogic squat. You go halfway down. We're just going to hold it for a few breaths. Straighten your legs, come to your tippy toes and hold it. Now you're going to stay on your tippy toes, squeeze your knees together, drop into a half squat. Heels are lifted. Heels plant, straight legs, and then lift the heels again. And if your body allows, you sit all the way down on the heels. If your knees don't like that, hands to the floor to take part of the weight off. So I'm actually just going to extend my right leg and some of my left heel. You can modify however you need to. Take a couple more breaths. And then come all the way back up and release your hands down. Roll your shoulders back. grab your strap. So you're gonna be standing on your left foot first. What I'd like you to do is simply loop your right foot. And you can hang on with both hands, it really doesn't matter. Go ahead and lift your chest, straight spine. Lift your right leg, keep it straight. Keep bringing the leg up until you begin to feel a hamstring stretch. Now, we're gonna flex the foot and then point the foot. Flex the foot, point the foot. Your right leg should be very straight. Do it one more time. Flex and point. Now, hang on to your strap in your right hand, left arm to the left, right leg to the right, straight leg, flex, point, flex, point. Do it one more time. Flex and point. Bring your leg back to the center. And you may release it. When you check in with your feet now, again, you should feel a difference in energy. So every time we do these moves, all we're doing is we're just freeing up more and more energy, more prana to run freely through the body. And we really want it to get down into our hands and feet. We need them. They're very important to us. So stand on your right foot, lift the left so that you can get your loop around it. Straight spine, left leg lifts. Find a place where you're feeling a little bit of a stretch. You don't want to be lazy here. Chest is lifted, left leg is straight. Flex the foot, point the foot. Flex, point, flex, and point. Grab your strap in the left hand. Right arm opens out to the right. Left leg goes to the left. You want your leg straight. Flex, point, flex, point. One more time, flex, and point. Bring your leg back to the center and release. You can drop your strap, take a moment, connect your feet down, lift, feel how everything's feeling, and then bring your palms together in front of your heart. Take a big inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold all the way forward, fingertips beside toe tips. Inhale, look up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, back down, step back to your plank position. Again, let's just kind of play with rolling over the feet. Maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't. Just play with it. So you'll shift forward, lower down. If you feel like you can, roll over the top of the toes. If you can't, that's all right. Do your best. And then maybe roll over them into downward facing dog. Reach your tailbone up and back. Press your heels down. Now, whether your heels are touching the floor or not, I want you to give this a shot. Try lifting your toes with your hips still pressing back. Notice your hands, they should be very connected. And then drop to your knees. So the first thing we're gonna do is play with the feet a little bit. I want you to turn your toes under and have the big toes touching, please. You have to have your feet together here. If you can, if your knees are okay with it, you're gonna sit back on your heels. I'm slightly modifying, don't mind me. Now, when you do that, that puts pressure to stretch out the arches of the feet. Shouldn't feel too bad here, but we're gonna make it a little more exciting. Keeping your big toes touching, bring your heels together and sit back again. That gets way more exciting. Breathe. And then come on back up from that. Put your hands on the ground. Untuck your toes. So you're on the tops of the feet. They are still touching, as are your knees. If you can, I want you to kind of sit back on the heels. Hands are right beside the knees, and we're going to lift the knees up so that the tops of the feet get a nice stretch. Drop your knees back down. Come back onto hands and knees. You can wag your tail if you like. And then we're going to do just a little bit of wrist opening from this same position. So if you kind of sit back slightly on the heels and you put your hands almost even with your knees and you spread your fingers and you put your palms flat, you can start to shift your weight forward to get this sharper angle at your wrist. You want to make sure that that's okay for you. You're going to find just the right amount of stretch. Take a couple of breaths. And then we're going to do the same thing, but flip the hands. So you want to be forward a little bit, flip to the back of the hands, fingers should be spread, and then only as much as you can with the elbows straight, by the way. You start to take your body back. Again, what you're trying to do is just make an angle at your wrist. In this case, I'm feeling a pretty big stretch on the top side of my forearms. Take one more breath. Good. Shake the hands out, shake them, shake them, shake them. Plant your hands nice and firm. Step back to plank. This will be your last vinyasa for today's practice. Hold your plank. If you're practicing rolling over the toes, go for it. And if not, just take a gentle vinyasa if you need something different. When you get to your downward facing dog, here's what I'd like you to do. Keep your left foot where it is. Pick your right foot up off the mat and literally stand on your left heel. I like to hook my toes, like the big toe is outside my left Achilles tendon and the other four on the inside. Your hips are pressing up and back. You're pushing down on your left foot with your right, and then maybe lifting the left toe. So this is a really intense calf stretch. Go ahead and put your right foot back down. Pick your left foot up off the mat. Stand on your right heel. Push the hips up and back. Press down, maybe even lifting the toes of the right foot. Left foot back down. Then you can either walk or jump forward and have a seat. We're going to take a moment in Dandasana, because that's what we always do, and it's very important to check in. So we're doing a lot of extremity work today. I want you to go ahead and use your hands for your Dandasana today. Hands are right behind your backside, fingers are spread, palms are flat, feet are very active. So your feet are dorsiflexed, the toes are slightly spread, your chest is lifted. You're pushing into the floor through very connected palms, and you have very active legs. Take a moment now and check in with your body, your breath, your mind, your heart, and your energy, as well as your sense of connection. Hopefully right now you feel very connected to the earth, because you are. And then release. Okay, grab your strap again. We're gonna play with that foot manipulation a little bit. Loop your feet. Get a good grip on your strap. Lift your chest. Flex the feet. Point the feet. Flex them. Point them and do it one more time. Flex and point. Awesome. Now, from here, we're gonna keep the right leg straight. We're gonna bring the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Lean out over your right leg for a moment. Just really stretch. Now, if your hands reach your right foot, here's what I'd like you to do. Flex the foot and use either or both hands to gently pull a little extra stretch into the foot. In other words, I'm using my hand to make my foot dorsiflex even more. I'm pulling my toes towards my shin. My right calf is stretching, my ankle is getting mobility, my Achilles tendon is getting mobility, and then I'm gonna release, do a couple ankle circles in both directions with the right foot, and then pick the left foot up and bring it on top of the right thigh wherever it's comfortable. You're gonna use your right hand to interlace your fingers with your left foot. Your thumb goes outside the big toe, and then the fingers just hopefully slide in between your toes. So we use this right hand to flex the foot and then pull it into a nice sharp point. Flex the foot, point the foot.
One more time. Flex the foot. Point the foot. Now this time we're gonna flex the foot. Push your foot into flexion and spread your fingers to spread your toes. Take a couple of breaths. Bring your left hand back out. I want you to use your thumbs to give the arch of your foot a little bit of a massage. So it's kind of like you're going up that midline. Imagine that the center line of your foot is like a little spine and you're massaging on either side of it. Then I want you to make a fist with your right hand and not using the pointy knuckles, but the flat spot. I want you to kind of dig in to the arch of your left foot. It's like you're kneading it, like you're kneading dough. And then finally, flatten out your right hand, and you're going to use the palm of your right hand to clap. Open up your left foot. Clap it, clap it, clap it. And then wiggle your left toes and extend your left leg out beside your right foot. And you're going to feel the difference. Again, even though we've done all of this work and we've opened up so much, notice how much difference in blood flow and energy flow you feel in your left versus your right. So let's go the other way. Right foot comes to the inside of the left thigh. I want you to just lean out over your left leg. Just take a moment and stretch. And then if your hands do reach your left foot, use them to gently pull a little bit of deeper dorsiflexion into the foot. So your left leg stays straight. If you can reach it, you put your left or right hand on the left foot and you're trying to pull your toes even more towards your left shin so that your Achilles tendon and calf stretch on that left foot. Take one more breath here. And then coming up from that, we're gonna pick the right foot up and bring it on top of the left thigh wherever it's comfortable. Now we're gonna use the left hand to interlace our fingers with the right foot. So if you can, you're just gonna slide your fingers between your toes. Hopefully that happens easily. If not, you can help it. And then we're gonna flex the foot and point the foot. Flex the foot, point the foot, flex it, point it. Now this time we flex the foot, keep it flexed, spread the fingers to spread your toes. Take a couple of breaths. And then unlace your left hand, use the thumbs to just kind of massage up the midline of the foot. And then you're going to make a fist with your left hand. Remember, you're not using the pointy knuckles, but rather the flat part of your fist to just knead the arch of the right foot, like you're kneading dough. And then open out your left hand and clap the bottom of your right foot. And put your right foot down beside your left foot. Wiggle the legs a little bit and just take a moment and notice how your feet and your legs feel. From here, lean out over both legs. Just take a moment and stretch. Now, if your hands reach your feet, this is going to be the last time I'll have you do anything weird like this, and then we get to roll into our backs. If you can, I want you to actually interlace your fingers from front to back between the toes, and then pull on them. One more good sharp dorsiflexion. Take one more breath here, and then you can release. Shake out the hands, shake out the feet, wiggle them, wiggle them, wiggle them. Make sure your strap is within reach, and go ahead and roll onto your back. Hug your knees into your chest, rock side to side. And then I want you to keep your right knee hugged in and extend your left leg out. We're gonna hold that for a breath, and then we're gonna loop the right foot. So we're using the strap today because what we're gonna do first is really seat the right hip into the ground. So this is why I want you to actually use a strap. Even if you can comfortably reach your right foot with your hands, just use a strap anyway. Totally straight leg.
You want it as vertical as possible. So if you're super flexible and you can get your leg by your face, get it vertical anyway. Leg is straight up and down, knee is straight, foot is flexed. Hold your strap in either hand and simply pull straight down and feel that connection of the back of your right hip to the floor. Hold that for a moment. Keep it super connected, your right hip that is. Keep your right leg straight and vertical and just slightly pull it towards the midline. I don't want you to roll. Your right hip stays totally grounded. This is going to get into your IT band. It's a totally different stretch than we sometimes do. Take one more breath and then come back. Point your foot, flex your foot, point your foot, flex your foot one more time, point your foot and flex it. Now, if you're more flexible, feel free to bring your leg closer up. Grab your strap in your right hand, left hand on the left hip, and open that right leg out to the right. The goal is not to have it hit the floor. You want your right leg in space. If you're not feeling enough stretch, you bring it closer up towards your right ear, but you don't let the right foot hit the ground. Take one more breath. Bring that right leg back up. Take the strap off. Hug your right knee in, and now you're going to just spinal twist to the left. Right arm opens out, twist to the left. Take a couple of breaths here. On your next inhale, come on back up. As you exhale, hug your right knee in. Bring your left knee up to meet it, rock side to side. Extend your right leg out. Just hold this for a breath, but make sure your strap is within reach. So here we go. We're going to loop the left foot. Now remember, the first thing we're going to do is make sure that our left leg is vertical. So regardless of your flexibility, you want to try and get your left ankle vertically stacked over your left hip. Flex the ankle and pull straight down towards the floor with your strap so that you feel the back of your left hip. It's basically the left side of your pelvis really connecting to the ground. Hold that for a moment and then ever so slightly bring the left leg towards the midline. Keeping left hip really grounded. This is for IT band. Good, bring your leg back up. And then you can adjust the angle if you like. We're gonna flex the foot, point the foot. You're still pulling with your strap, by the way, in case I neglected to say that. Flex the foot, point the foot. One more time, flex the foot, point the foot, and then keeping the leg really straight. Right hand comes to your right hip bone. Left hand continues to hold the strap, and you take your left leg to the left, trying to keep it in the air. We take a couple more breaths. And then bring that leg back up. Release the strap, hug your left knee, and just transition this into a spinal twist. Twisting to the right, left arm opening to the left, head turning to the left if that feels okay with your neck. From here, come all the way back up. Hug your left knee in. Bring your right knee up to meet it. Side to side rock. Now, if you need to do bridge or even just rest your hips on a block, feel free to do that. But we're going to be super gentle. If possible, hike your hips into your hands. It doesn't have to be a beautiful shoulder stand. If you can get your hips into your hands, that's my first preference for you. Otherwise, whatever inversion is working for you. Otherwise, hips and hands, you don't have to be vertical. The first thing I want you to do is just flex your feet and then point them. Flex them and point them. Make circles in both directions. Let the legs drop into a wide V and flex your feet.
And then bring the soles of the feet together with the knees wide. It's going to look like Baddha Konasana. Really press the soles of the feet together. Take one more breath here. And then you can slowly just roll down. Hug your knees in. Rock side to side. Reach down and grab the outside edges of your feet for happy baby. But I want you to notice like how alive your hands and feet are. When you grab your feet today, you might actually feel your hands and feet rather than just mindlessly using them as a way to move the legs. So just be conscious of your extremities. Give yourself a little bit of time to move and roll around. When you're ready, I'd like you to put your feet flat on the mat, ankles and knees together. Take a moment, spread the toes and plant your heels. And with the knees pointing up, rather than dropping open, knees pointing up, just slightly tilt the pelvis to lengthen your low back. And then I want you to release that. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to mindfully, intentionally move into our Shavasana today. So I want you to inhale and extend your right leg out. Really reach through a flexed right foot. Now exhale, relax it. Let that right leg flop. Inhale, reach out through your left leg. Reach, 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 foot flexed. Exhale, relax it. Take a moment, wiggle the legs if you need to. Make sure they're in the right position and then let them go. Slightly lifting between the shoulder blades, just barely perceptibly. Inhale, lift, lengthen your spine. Exhale, put it back down and adjust for lifting the back of the head as well. Inhale, reach your right arm out, really extend it, open up the hand really wide, and then exhale, totally relax it. Fingers should curl if your right hand is relaxed. Inhale, left arm reaches out and down. Of course, you want it in Shavasana position. Palm is facing up, reach, and then exhale, relax it. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed and that your body parts are where you want them. And then I want you to just pause for a moment and feel how relaxed your hands are with the palms facing up. Your fingers should be gently curled as though you are holding delicate lotus blossoms in each hand. Close your eyes, take a huge inhale. Exhale through your mouth and relax. As you feel your body softening and your breath relaxing and everything doing what it always does during Shavasana, which is letting go, I want you to simply bring your awareness to the center of the palm of each hand, which should be facing up, and bring awareness to the center of the arch of each foot. And that's all you have to do is maintain awareness at the center of the palm of each hand and the center of the arch of each foot. So earlier when we were practicing, I said that we draw energy up through the arches of our feet. Most people are aware of the 7 major chakras or energy centers that we have in our body, but we have minor ones as well. There's far more than 7. We have some above our head in space. We have some below our feet in the earth. And we also have them in the palms of our hands and the soles of our feet. We even have them in our fingertips. So the fact that we have energy centers in our hands is pretty apparent for those of you who understand the healing power of touch, massage, right? Simply bringing awareness to the center of the palm of each hand allows you to draw prana or life force in right there. You don't have to do anything. You simply bring awareness there. And the same is true for the feet. So in the center of the arch of each foot, in the center of the palm of each hand, You have energy centers that can draw in life force, prana. The next few minutes, do your absolute best to simply keep your attention in those 4 spots. Maintain focus on the palms of the hands, the soles of the feet. If your mind drifts, that's okay, but bring it back. Always come back today to the center of the palms of the hands and the arches of your feet. Start to allow your awareness to come back into the rest of your body. And I want you to just notice how alive your entire body feels from having focused on your extremities. I want you to think about how your hands and your feet are so much of how you connect to the world around you. You reach and touch and feel with your hands, and you are literally connected to the earth by your feet. We stand and walk. That is our connection point, is our feet. Just noticing that, noticing how your whole body feels, beginning to move your fingers and toes a little bit as you deepen your breath. And then when you inhale, spread your fingers and toes. Maybe it has a little more meaning for you today. Exhale and relax. And then inhale, reach and stretch through arms and legs, hands and feet and fingers, toes, and then exhale. Bend your knees. Feel free to hug them in if that's good for you today, whatever feels good for you. And then slowly roll to your right side. Pause for a moment. When you're ready, press up into sitting. Find your straight aligned spine.
So today, we're going to be doing our segmented breath. I'm not done with this with you guys for a long time. So we're actually going to use the fingertips for this. We're going to use mudra, hand positions. Your fingertips and your soft palate are more highly represented in your brain than any other body parts because speech and opposable thumbs are very complex actions. They require a lot of neuron activity. So when we touch fingertips and also chant or vocalize, we're really, really lighting up the brain. I'm not going to ask you to chant today. I am going to ask you to use finger positions. So if you would, let your hands rest palms up on your knees or thighs. We're going to be doing Viloma Pranayama, which is a segmented in-breath. We're going to sniff 4 times through the nose, and as we exhale, a very slow ujjayi exhale through the mouth. So just the breath part would be like this. Now, to accompany that, our finger positions are going to be index finger touching thumb tip, middle finger touching thumb tip, ring finger touching thumb tip, little finger touching thumb tip on each of the 4 sniffs. And then as we exhale, the hands are completely spread and stretched open. So you sniff, each sniff, a different fingertip touches the thumb. And then as you exhale, the palms open out. All right, I'd like you to do this at your own speed. You don't have to follow my speed. Your exhales may be shorter or longer. We're going to do this 3 times. So let's just start with a deep breath in through the nose. Then ujjayi exhale through the mouth. And I'd like you to do 3 rounds at your own speed. As you finish out, let your palms relax, which means your fingers will curl again, but your palms are still facing out. Your breathing is returning to normal. Notice how you feel. Body, breath, mind, heart, energy, and connection. And then bring the palms of your hands together in front of your heart. And I want you to be very conscious of the palms of the hands touching, conscious of those 2 energy centers in the center of the palms of the hands, how warm they perhaps feel right now, how connected they are right in front of your heart. Take a moment in gratitude for your hands and feet. They are, in fact, how we connect and interact with the world, with each other when we touch or shake hands or hug, and with ourselves. Right now, you're connected to yourself. You've connected those 2 energy centers right in front of your heart. Take a moment in gratitude for that, for this day, for this life. And then take one more huge inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Palms to the forehead, just reminding us to be present. Palms to the lips, reminding us to speak our truth, and palms to the heart, reminding us to keep our hearts open, to always practice kindness and compassion and love. Thank you so much for joining me today. Happy winter solstice tomorrow. Namaste.